Hi guys, ArchieLuxury. Go to f2bbs.com. www.f2bbs.com. The last bastion of free speech on the interweb. That's right, guys. I want you to go to www.f2bbs.com. That's right. I want you to go there. You can, this is a great site to fight against all sorts of nastiness by posting on f2bbs.com, the last bastion of free speech on the interweb. Go there, guys. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury on the ArchieLuxury channel. Today, guys, I want to talk about Rolex or sports watches. Sports watches. Before we start this, let's do a quick wristwatch check. And I'm wearing a Rolex Submariner. The Submariner. That's a Submariner. That's right, Submariner. And this one here is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Rolex Submariner. This is the new model, 41mm. Guys, Rolex sports watches and all sports watches. Let's tell you, guys, what's happened to sports watches and watches in general is very similar to what's happened in the automotive world. When I grew up, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you saw this massive shift to SUVs. That's right. Even makers like Mercedes-Benz, who they had the oddball G-Wagon, they went to the ML Mercedes. BMW had the X5. Basically, what's happened in our time is, as consumers have gone into SUVs, well, guess what? The wristwatches have done the same thing. 80s, 90s, Datejusts were popular. The Datejust is like your sedan. The sports watch, like a Rolex Submariner, that's like an SUV. So basically, you could tie in, just like the market for automobiles has gone into SUVs, the market for wristwatches has gone into sports. And this has happened in all sectors, in all ranges. Brands like Patek Philippe, famous for dress watches. Well, what are the hottest Pateks? It's the Aquanaut and the Nautilus. That's the two big sellers. Rolex, who had a huge professional line. That's the Submariner, the GMT, the Explorers, the Milgaus, pieces like this. That's really flourished. And it's an interesting equation. I remember myself in the 80s and 90s, you looked around, you saw a lot of BMW 5 Series, you saw a lot of E-classes. Now you don't see those same numbers of cars. You see Mercedes SUVs, BMW SUVs. And I gotta tell you, I think what has happened is Rolex. Which brand is Rolex? Well, Rolex is the Toyota of wristwatches. Toyota. Let's be honest there, because let's be completely frank and honest there. The garbage that Mercedes-Benz and BMW churn out of the self in America, let's be completely frank and honest there. The workmanship on modern luxury SUV, BMW and Mercedes is garbage. It's garbage. The real quality SUVs, the quality four-wheel drives, you got to go Japanese. If you got a lot of money, you would buy a Lexus. You'd buy a Lexus SUV. God forbid you'd buy a Range Rover. A Range Rover is kind of just trouble, isn't it? Even brands like Rolls-Royce and Bentley have released SUV. Ferrari's bringing out an SUV. Maserati has the Levante. Alfa Romeo's got SUV. Audi's got a big SUV lineup. Every significant maker, they gotta have an SUV. It's a bit like Lange. Look at Lange. Lange und Sun. Su. They're a traditional dress watch coachmaker type arrangement. They had to bring out the Odysseus. The Odysseus. It's basically a sports watch version because they cannot miss out on this market sector. They gotta do it. And I gotta tell you, man, Rolex is the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado of the SUV watch segment. That's right. I gotta be totally honest with you. I'd much rather get a Prado than a BMW X5. The Prado is better made, more reliable, cheaper to service and maintain, and in 10 years' time, it's still going to be a pretty decent vehicle. The BMW, of course, the X5, we would have had numerous plastic water pumps. We would have had computer trouble, transmission trouble, all sorts of disasters. All sorts of disasters. Just look at Hoovie's garage. Hoovie, who bought an X5 recently. Have a look at that. Mercedes ML, let's not even go there. The ML, what a piece of, yes, a piece of garbage it was. I gotta tell you, man, the world we've casualized. In the 80s and 90s, we were more sedan-based. We bought the 3 Series BMW, the 5 Series, and the 7 Series we aspired to. Nowadays, it's all SUV-based, all SUV-based greed. Mercedes is the same. You had the C-Class, the E-Class, and the S-Class. Well, now we're going for the SUVs. The SUVs, that's right. We want four-wheel drive, the suburban utility vehicle. That's what we wanted. SUVs, that's what we wanted. And the SUVs of the 80s, I remember the Land Cruisers. You had the FJ series in the 70s. They were pretty utilitarian. And now what has happened is the whole genre shifted. The sedan market, 5 Series and 7 Series. The 3 Series still sells well. That's in the sub area. That's kind of become the sedan choice. So I've got to tell you, honestly, man, the whole watch market's gone the same way. And this is what's happened to Datejusts and Day Dates. They're still there. They got some market share. But the whole wristwatch world, just like we've gone to SUVs, we've gone to sports watches. Now, the funny thing is, just as we've gone into sports watches and SUVs, we're as fat and overweight as ever. Like, we like to think we're sporty, but we still supersize. We like our sugar-filled sodas. We like fried food. We like the fried food cooked in oil. And it's kind of a bit of an oxymoron. We love our sports watches, SUVs, but we're as fat and overweight as ever. Bit of a contradiction, that. But you get the gist of the gab. And I got to tell you, man, seriously, I would say the Rolex Submariner, it's kind of the Toyota Prado. The Prado, okay, a top spec Prado, but that's what it is. The Land Cruiser, that'd be the Sea Dweller or the Deep Sea. The Submariner is the Prado. That's the way it goes. And I got to be honest with you, This is the casualization of society. We started off, no more neckties, no more briefcases, and now it's ended with sports watches, SUVs, and we're as fat as ever. That's the way the watch market has turned. I'm ArchieLuxury, looking at an insight to the market. Tell me what you think, guys. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your frenemies, tell people you work with. I desperately need more subscribers to boost my channel. See you in the next one. The Rolex Submariner date. Probably the most versatile, the most famous, the most wanted watch of 2020. The Rolex Submariner. Absolutely stunning. I've gone for the steel model. I wanted something that could be worn every day. The businessman's delight. Look at the side profile. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. I've got to tell you, I am in love with this Submariner. Black on black. Does it get any better? Black on black. The Rolex Submariner. This is what this is just such a beautiful look at the, I got to tell you, the maxi, that just the whole thing, this whole thing is everything the ceramic sub should have been from day one. Absolutely winner chicken dinner. Absolutely. And it's got the new clasp with the glide lock for easy adjustments. Absolutely winner chicken dinner. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.